Greetings, fellow readers. If you were to ask an otaku from the 90s at a convention what was their first anime, chances are they'll probably say Sailor Moon, if not Dragon Ball or a film like Akira or Ghost in the Shell. Uh, but for me, that wasn't actually the case. My first entry into anime was actually a little bit further than that. Uh, that was actually goes to Voltron, also known as Golion in Japan. I pretty much, as a kid, got Black Lion for the Black Lion for Christmas, and I even had like little miniature Voltron, all five of them, and was able to turn them into little Voltron, into little Voltron, which was a pretty funny thing. But in terms of getting into anime full time, that didn't occur until the 90s. But what happened was that I'm a diehard gamer since I was a kid, and that was really my more primary focus. But I was aware of anime in Japan because of Nintendo, and that was one of the coolest things because I got to see actual anime artwork and everything. But one of the key problems with me in anime during the early years of my childhood was syndication. So for those of you who may not know, syndication is basically local television. Like it's restricted to like your regional area, your regional towns or counties, state. It's not like ABC, NBC, or CBS, which are national television. And you'll find them across the country. Certain shows, for the most part, would get aired in syndication in certain parts, and you wouldn't find others in other areas of the country, in the U.S. So when it came to anime, that was a tough thing to try and catch because when it comes to syndication, they don't tend to get aired in chronological order. They tend to get moved around time slots, and it's very hard to keep up. Voltron, then came Robotech, which I couldn't follow because when I found out about Robotech, it was already like maybe a whole bunch of episodes in, so I had no idea who the giant characters are or the pilots or anything outside of Rick Hunter and Min-Mei. Then. And Voltron also fell into the same trap because it jumped all over the place. I found out I was missing episodes and so on. So my first how you say Japanese language anime show happened when when my parents got cable, and we got this station that was out in Long Island. It was like a PBS station, and they aired Galaxy Express 999, the TV series, in Japanese. And that was the first time I got to see Japanese language anime, and that was like a little seed, so to speak, to my path towards anime. And I wanted to see more of that, like more of it. Problem was that I only caught 3 episodes and then they just dropped it out. It was very sad and disappointing. I was aware of Akira, but I never really watched it. That didn't happen until a couple of years down the line. As I started getting older and entering high school, Saturday morning cartoons for me was now sputtering out. If it wasn't video game related like Captain N or Sonic the Hedgehog, I wasn't watching Saturday morning cartoons. And once those shows were gone and off the air, that was it. I was pretty much done with it. If there was only one show that I stuck around on a Saturday morning, that was Ren and Stimpy on Nickelodeon. That was just the only show I'd ever watched was Ren and Stimpy, and then that went into repeats and it got tiring. So what ended up happening with my Saturday mornings? Well, sci-fi happened. The Sci-Fi Channel, or today called Sci-Fi with the Y and the pretentiousness. And what ended up happening was that I started seeing anime films. It was called Saturday Anime, and that took over my Saturday mornings, hands down, throughout my high school. I got to see Akira. I got to see Project Echo, Red Side versus Blue Side, Cat's Eyes, 8 Man After, Tenchi Muyo in Love, I started seeing all those movies, and I was recording them when I had the chance. If I was able to, I recorded them. I don't know if I still have them on VHS though, but yeah, that was my Saturday mornings at that point. That was my Saturday morning cartoons. There was no more of that stuff. Back in the 80s, it was just now straight up anime, but it was anime films. And during that time, there were other shows that were popping up in syndication. There was the Samurai Pizza Cats. I'm using the English titles for these anime shows. So there was Samurai Pizza Cats. Again, syndication jumped it all over the place. But the way that it was dubbed, I was able to enjoy everything about it. And then I came across Dragon Ball. Sadly enough, the episode that I stumbled onto was when Goku learned to do the Kamehameha. So I didn't know who any of the characters are in Dragon Ball, so I ended up disconnected. So now we come to we come to the next part, and that was one day I woke up in the morning and I was just flipping through the channels. Okay, I was getting ready for school, and I stumbled upon this scene. This particular scene here that you're looking at. Okay, so it was anime. It's like, oh, anime, okay. And I just started, looking at it, as I was getting ready, and I knew what, and then, I found out what it was and everything, and it turned out to be the first episode. Because I wanted to see, well, let me explain it this way. The reason why the movies didn't pull me into anime is because they were very compact. They're like 2 hours, 90 minutes, or 1 hour for some of them. And they're very rapid fire, straightforward. But it wasn't giving me the grand scale, because I knew about shows like Voltron and Robotech, and because they were all over the place in a jumbled mess, I wasn't getting to see television anime the way that it was meant to be seen. And Dragon Ball, I stumbled into it by accident, and same thing with Dragon Ball Z. I stumbled onto their Battle of Nappa, and I'm like, what's going on here? So this was actually the first episode of the series that I caught on time. Well, not really on time, because this was the first scene that I spotted. But I stuck around and watched it, and I saw the episode. And despite not seeing the beginning, this gave me, this scene from this point forward gave me the plot. It gave me the plot, and I was like, now, of course, some of you are going to sit there and say, well, it's a girl show. But you know what? Let me tell you something. When you're trying to watch Dragon Ball and you stumble onto it in the middle of the series, or you want to watch Voltron and they're jumping the episodes all over the place, you're going to take what you want to get if you want to really get the full anime experience. And that's what this show gave me. Okay? Because this was the first episode. And I was very lucky that I stumbled onto this scene, because if many of you who've watched the Deke episodes know, this episode spoiled the entire series in the opening credits. After the opening credits, like, they literally spoiled it. When I saw this whole series from Sailor Moon to Sailor Moon R, and it looped all the way back, it spoiled I saw the beginning of this episode, and it's spoiled. And this is where I'm gonna get right to the point of why of how Sailor Moon sold me on anime's storytelling potential. Because I started on this scene, I was not spoiled. I had no idea who the Moon Princess was. I didn't know anything about the Moon Kingdom. I didn't know anything that was going on. It was a total mystery. So as this show progressed, I began to see, started seeing, the little nuggets of foreshadowing and questions being asked and whatnot. Who are these guys? Where did they come from? Who's who here? It was like a total mystery, and it got me engrossed. Like, I wanted to see the answers big time. Because you know what? This show was really good. Given what the liberties Deke took with the translations. Given what Deke took for with regards to translations and adapting it to Western tastes, uh, Western tastes, they did a pretty good job because they kept me in the loop. They kept me in the game. The characters were interesting. They had great personalities in the Deke version, and I was cheering them on. And it was like this is I'm like, so this is anime as a TV medium as opposed to a movie medium. It's very well stretched out, very well paced, likable characters, very interesting plots and stories. And I liked it. I really really did enjoy this series. And because I was very lucky to not have gotten spoiled in episodes one's opening scenes where they revealed everything, I was able to really see anime's storytelling potential, and I wanted to see anime now. Now I wanted to see anime. Like it pulled me in. It pulled me in. Where Voltron, was my entry point, Sailor Moon kept me in. It kept me in, and it kept me from leaving. Think of it like alternate history hub. If you've seen the channel, Cody, he would, where he would try and pinpoint where certain things would be at in history. So let's say if there was an alternate history of my point, what if I never came across Sailor Moon, or if I saw the opening scene and been spoiled. Where I'm at right now, this whole screen that you're seeing here, Kana Magi, the Impossible Man all the way back there, all this stuff would never happen if it wasn't for the fact that I stumbled onto Sailor Moon and this particular scene. I guess one could say this was lightning in a bottle type of thing, and it's one heck of a lightning bottle, because this really brought me into Japanese culture, helped me go into the direction towards Japanese culture and Japan as a country. And I was just now dedicated to wanting to find more anime, but it was the VHS days, so VHS were very tough to get. It wasn't until PS2 came out and made DVDs more accessible and cheaper that I picked up my first DVD set, which was Blue Seed, and I was able to watch that. But on the VHS side, just to make it very clear, my first anime DVDs on the VHS side was Dual Parallel Adventures and Evangelion. So, so I still have them, the complete sets, and I picked up some more, here and there. But once the PS2 arrived, DVDs all the way. It was just like every DVD, and I never looked back. So eventually, because of anime, I stumbled down to Pokemon, and it was because of Pokemon that, and the advent of the internet, that was led to certain places, like, for example, fan fiction, and it helped me. It basically just guided me. This whole thing guided me into the direction of where I ended up with writing books and doing Splatterbomb Lounge and Savage Strikers and many others. So it definitely got me to stay in the game, because if this didn't happen, and given the way syndication was, I would have probably given up on anime altogether. I probably would have just watched anime movies and not even bothered Glint 9. I would have just stayed, playing video games and just focused squarely on game design. I would never have come to this point where I became a writer if it wasn't for Sailor Moon and this particular scene. So, it's just one of those weird things that happens in life. One of those crazy things that happens in life. So, yeah. If you want to know if I'm a Sailor Moon fan, yeah, I'm a Sailor Moon fan. I have the soundtracks. I got the first 2 season DVDs from ADV, and I got to see Sailor Stars legit on Hulu. So yeah, I do enjoy it. And I did got to watch all of Sailor Moon Crystal. I don't know why they stopped it. I haven't been paying attention to politics, but that's what I got to say. But if you're wondering if the Sailor Moon is an influence, not really. It's not what's influencing my work. There's actually someone else, a different mangaka who's doing that. In fact, it's 4 of them. You'll see in the next video. So thank you all. Have a good night, and buenas noches.